Hello? Okay, come on. It's a beautiful day to blaze some good. A beautiful day to blaze some good. Would you be kind? Please light mine. Hello. That didn't come out the way I thought it would. Anyway, right now it's time to get baked. Wake and bake if you're already fucking waking up. Or just waking up, I mean. Have a cup of coffee. Jay, you know how it goes. Well, almost done. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning over here, so I don't know. Oh, 3:30, but I guess somebody's waking up somewhere, but oh well. So tonight is basically me talking shit about movies that have and basically sort of conspiratorial type of movies that basically mirror the social, basically the social norms of today. So a lot of the things that are going on have been basically put forward through movies that I've discussed. But so I have something in mind, but the first thing I want to talk about, and this will lead into that, it's not about a movie, but it sort of goes back to, what the premise. It all connects. Everything in life connects, and everything in everywhere just connects. So now I was watching YouTube. That's like my favorite pastime. I love watching YouTube. And YouTube be pulling some shit, but I'll talk about that. But so there's a creator called Roma Army. Roma Army. Feel like I sound retarded saying that, but either way, she's like pro manosphere type of, but from the female perspective. I mean, I'm not really in those manosphere spaces or nor I want to be, but I do see some of the channels. Some of the stuff is like ugh, cringy and shit. People live sort of, or try to live this sort of rigid sort of ideology. Things got to be sort of, not to sound all woke, but fluid. I mean, not everything applies, but anyway. So she's talking about. I fucking die laughing. Listen, think of this shit. They got these shorties over in like England, and one of I think it's like something blue, and she, going online talking about she slept with like 100 dudes, and she had like there was like another chick, and they were like one up each other and shit. So this chick decides. I think I'm not sure exactly when this happened, but she decides that she's gonna smash on camera dudes fresh out of high school. 1,000 of them. Yo, all right. She's gonna smash it. I would have cried laughing at this shit because it's just sad and funny at the same time. So it was 1,000 dudes, and they show a little bit of the video. They're not the actual like smashing, and you didn't really see faces from what she showed. And I'm glad she only showed this part because just a reference of what she was talking about. So it was a room full of dudes, and I guess it was like around some kind of. It was just, what I'm saying, you own your drawers or whatever, and you pick up, you walk up, do your thing, and then bounce, and then next man up. So diabolical, yo. Fucking shit. Fuck. But that's not even, it gets worse. Okay, so she does it. 1,000 dudes. It's supposed to be on OnlyFans, but your OnlyFans was like, hold up. We don't. We can't verify the ages of all these people. These are the dudes straight out of high school. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers be graduating underage. So she can't monetize the video. She got smashed by 1,000 dudes for nothing. I'm wondering if there's some kind of meme that I could use for that. But Shorty did all of that. You know what I'm saying? I guess she thought she had some kind of like big payday coming. Yo, son. Yo. 1,000 dudes for nothing. All right. I mean, that's this new world we live in, right? You know, on one hand, she could have just did 1,000 just regular dudes. It's still pathetic. It's still gross. But like, I guess what she called it, what, FOH, fresh out of high school. And you got to figure how many of them dudes was like virgins. I mean, I got both hands up. Just think again, like what I'm saying. Free 1,000. So now to pivot to the main topic, I will circle back. Okay, so this week or last week, you know, the new Captain America came out. Captain America Brave New World. Emphasis Brave New World. So, of course, people hated on it. You know, I mean, you can see before even the movie even came out, people just knew it was gonna be shit. You know, they just said it was gonna be shit, and you know all the you see like the descriptions of different videos they're making about it. It's talking about Captain African America. Let me take a little side note to that, cause are we just because we black, are we not Americans? Are we not fucking? I mean, I was I was born here. My parents were born here. One of my grandparents was born here. You know, but everybody else was born here. We can trace our ancestry back. You know, through my grandfather and my mom's side, and then my grandfather and my grandmom on my dad's side. We can trace it back to slavery. So now, but it's bad for a black guy to be Captain America. I mean, I know it's fictional, but are we not Americans? Well, we can't represent America. I mean, we did have a black president. And then you even go back to the halftime show at the Super Bowl. How many people hating on that shit? But it was representing America all the way through. Of course we got issues, but you know what I'm saying? It's like a family. You know what I'm saying? I may fight with my cousins, I may fight with my sisters, you know what I'm saying? I may call them all kinds of names, but only I can do that. You know what I'm saying? You the random stranger, you know what I'm saying, that you know what I'm saying, y'all can't say shit. So that's the same thing with the country. This is our country. We grew up here, so we have a right to say what we like, and that's the whole point of it anyway. But you get what I'm saying. So they was representing, you know what I'm saying, with Sam Jackson, who, come on, yo. I mean, as far as black actors go, who's bigger? Not talking about who's better. I'm talking about who's bigger. I mean, the motherfucker was Nick Fury. He was a Jedi. You know, 1,000 other. Come on, what is it? Pulp Fiction. So it's American cinema great right there. And then what I'm saying, you got Kendrick Lamar. Come on, he got the whole community like, people jumping out their cars, dancing and shit. Even though I'm not like on hip hop like at you know what I'm saying, like that hip hop, like, you know what I'm saying, as much as I am metal or as much as I am classic hip hop or like, more East Coast. I'm on that more heavy, but you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Count me in. On code. That's just that. So what is this other, Americans, white Americans, why can't you part of this shit too? Shit. 1 year, 2 years, every other year you got other sort of milquetoast acts. Sometimes it's spectacular. I mean, The Weeknd, he kind of killed it that 1 year. I'm not really a big fan of The Weeknd, but come on. A show's a show. So, either way, this is my tangent off of, but back to the movie. So, obviously, being that it had been done so long, and certain things in life changed, they had to go through and make changes. I kind of wish they didn't, because you can see holes. You know what I'm saying? By the way, I did see the movie. Barely, sorta. And, I saw it, but I would have liked a better cinema viewing. Sort of had the boot. But, so, like, I wish sort of like that Giancarlo role was, I wish it was, if it was from inception, it would have felt more part of the movie as opposed to thrown in there. And then, just him. You know what I'm saying? It's Captain America he's fighting. He didn't take the serum. And in the movie, the thing comes up about the serum. But that, I just wish they handled that a little bit better. And then the role with Ruth, the one that was supposed to be Sabra, I'm torn about that. You know what I'm saying? Because she's supposed to be a mutant, that's my favorite part of the whole Marvel shit. But Shorty was badass. She was. I think she should be in one of the new Avengers. She was badass. she was good. I liked her. Of course, Isaiah Bradley. I think he should play still sort of like an ancillary role. You know what I'm saying? And get his younger grandson, I believe. I think he got powers because the blood went down, from through family, and as you know, a lot of your physical traits come from not necessarily your dad's line, but your dad's dad. Because no, my dad and none of and his brothers don't have the sort of, and not like a bragging thing because it's not really a big thing, but me and my sisters have these hazel to green eyes. You know what I'm saying? And that comes from our grandfather. You know what I'm saying? He was real light skinned. One thing we didn't get from him was the tall, because he was super tall. Didn't get that. But you know, he was. My dad isn't light skinned. My dad is probably more representative of great grandfather. But my grandfather, he was light skinned. He had hazel eyes. So me and my sisters, we all look the same. We all get our traits from him. So that's why I think with Isaiah Bradley, that's why I think it would be his grandson who would inherit the powers or the strength, but more organically because it's through the blood as opposed to some kind of serum. So that could be ill how they do that, because they could mess with his powers and shit like in a whole other way. But that's ill. But I'm going off. But so I'm trying to, because I could just, I liked it. I liked the movie. I did. I could rewatch it. You know what I'm saying? I loved the new Falcon, Joaquin Phoenix, or Taurus, Phoenix. I don't know son's real name, but you know, you got to have both of them in the new Avengers. I'm sorry, two winged dudes. Oh well. You had two armored guys. I heard somebody or making an argument earlier about having two winged dudes. So, but either way, so I don't understand why people completely shit on it. There's some issues, but that Samuel Stern, his, that's another bad character or bad guy. They really, not 100%. Like they really shitted the bed with MODOK, but either way. So I'm going off a tangent on my nerdy comic shit, which let me just say the movie was good. I like the movie. It's rewatchable, and once it comes out on, you know what I'm saying, Disney, then I'll be able to watch it 100% correctly. I can't really say, but either way, it tied with the movie. Back to the conspiratorial aspect of my discussion or my premise, a Brave New World. So there's a lot of connotations to that, to just those words, Brave New World, you know, and that's sort of fitting because this is a whole fucking, and I know we've been in a while, but this is a whole new century. You know, obviously not brand new, but I was born in '77, so I went from you know one century to a whole nother one. That's it went through seamlessly, but that's monumental if you think about it. Sort of the aspect you go from one century to a whole nother one. That's monumental. But the the connotation behind that has so everything in this world is double meaning. So nothing on the face is just as what it is. So you get the term Brave New World. So it's like it gives you this idea of new beginnings, and if you were young in the 60s and 70s, you had this idea, or even the 80s with, with Back to the Future, you had this idea you could have all these different, like flying cars, and my favorite thing is the skateboard that's on the air. All these different technologies that we don't have. So that's one of the connotations you get from Brave New World. But then there goes also the conspiratorial aspect of it, and that's where that name comes in, or the title, Brave New World, because now it's also the name of a book and a whole other movie that had sort of, I mean, the movie had, I mean, it's the premise behind that is something that has been sort of inserted. That the premise or the idea behind it, that is sort of social norm now in this movie, and this gets away from the whole Marvel stuff. So you have, again, two different things, double meaning, because in the Marvel movie, it's the whole Brave New World because, governments now have to work together to be able to utilize this new resource, which is the, breaking down the celestial into, it's adamantium? Yeah, adamantium. Which, obviously, if you're a Marvel dude, that has implications for Wolverine. But that's that's one aspect of it. So it's the whole technological. It's the whole the militaries working together. It's technology, working for peace and good of man and blah blah blah. Then there's the other aspect, the degradation of society or the morals, which honestly seems based off what I saw from that, from, and, I keep saying, but either way, tried to stomach the movie Brave New World. It didn't have motherfuckers in like tights fighting and flying and shit like that. So it's a hard one. It's very hard. I can only really surmise on the premise of it, because that one in 1984 is, it's slow, and but this one is even more because there's an aspect of action in 1984 that's at least I didn't, I maybe I'm that's on the list. So I'm going to on the list for the movie marathon. So we're definitely gonna have to sit through that shit. I mean, when I first did the marathon, I sat through that fucking Escape from New York. Now I know why I never watched that. I mean, it didn't hold up. And truth be told, neither did Big Trouble in Little China. But I digress. Big words. College words. I digress. So, so just basically how Brave New World ties into the whole discussion tonight. And it also goes back to even what I initially was talking about with that chick who got smashed by 1,000 dudes. From what I did see of the movie, and it also is a book. I tried the audio. It's hard. I tried the audio of the Cimmerillion. I got through a lot of that somewhat sleeping, but either way, so the thing about the thing about the movie and the premise in the book, and this is basically, I'm being long winded about it, but it was sort of this aspect of, how people didn't have the same type of relationships as far as like, you know sexual relationships, um, just one-on-one relationships, or even how they had children. Because I remember seeing where they were talking about how people used to have children because they had like a museum. So it was a group of people in like this sort of like museum, and on display, us Neanderthals, damn us for having children by coupling up and then spitting out a spud or two, or in some cases 8, 10. But you know they made fun of that, like that was such an archaic way of creating life, and I mean, you think about it now, there's an argument going on. I'm not going to mention the argument because I'm not part of it, but there is an argument not going now with laws that affect women in a certain way in life, which you can see. It's so crazy. It's so masterful because they're not forcing people into this ideology. It's a psychological sort of hurting. It's like we're being hurted. It's masterful. I'm fucking watching it. That's what I said about Carlin. Has he said that he sit back and watch the fucking world burn? I can't do nothing but sit back because I have no power over it. But I see it. I see it clearly. It's masterful, and it's turning out. It's turning around how we think about the creation of life, and when and who should be the ones to create life. Sick, but how it's being done is masterful. I could only, I could even, I could not get the balls to be that manipulative. But other aspect, now we're talking about relationships between man and women, a man and woman. So another thing that I saw was, this chick was spending time with a guy, and a homegirl took it to the side, was like, "Yo, I see you've been taking too long. You've been with this guy a little bit too long. You know what I'm saying? There's other guys you should be with too." So basically the whole idea of, what I'm saying, you hit it, quit it, you know what I'm saying? Hit and run. And as we call it nowadays, situationships, one night stands. You know what I'm saying? So it was a norm for men and women to be bust downs, basically. And it was frowned upon if you wanted to couple up and then, shit, why be greedy? it's, I just can't. I seen, or I could see, because I am observing how things go, because I always wonder, especially when things fuck up for myself. It's like, how did I get here? What things sort of happened to get me to at a certain spot, or how did things, what went into creating such a fucked up moment, or an environment, or thought, or situation. So, I could see that things weren't always right between men and women. You know what I'm saying? This is a lot. The shit that's going on nowadays is nothing new. I just think it's more of it. More widespread, or a little more widespread, a lot more widespread, and then it's more televised because of the internet. So then, there goes again that masterful manipulation, because then what you do is you see this online and it fucking normalizes it to you. You know what I'm saying? The degradation is normalized, and you don't have nothing to tell you, hey, or there is, but then they have something to counter that, and that's called the mob. You know, because who wants to go against the mob, or who wants to go against society? So you say, hey, yo, slow down. This, and this. You know what I'm saying? If you do this, this is gonna happen. If you do this, that's gonna happen. So take a second and think about it. Then they look at you like, yo, fucking this piece of shit. Everybody else is doing this. This is what I need to be doing. I'm gonna be doing this. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's like basically male, it's like the, let's say, male chickens. It's the because isn't that the male? What they, I don't know why I'm forgetting what the fuck they call them, but you know what I'm saying, in the chicken factories you have the chickens, you know what I'm saying, and you have anyway, they take the males and they sort of throw them to the side and they put them through this conveyor belt and they grind them up, you know what I'm saying, and then it's now food and shit. It's like compost basically. So that's what it's like. That, you know, you all the people are basically being sort of herded. You separate, you know what I'm saying, the chickens and the fruitful ones are the ones that they could use to the side. The rest are to be put into a grinder. All I gotta say is, if anybody looking at this sits back, just think differently for a second. You know what I'm saying? Look at the steps that stuff happens. Look at the way things are manipulated, and you sit back and you say, "Fuck! How the fuck do people even think that this is some of the shit that they're doing? Something they could, should be done." And they don't have to be specific about the situation. It could be any situation. Just look at the movie I'm talking about, Brave New World, and we can still go about the Marvel one, but I'm talking about the original one, the Brave New World, not Captain America Brave New World, even though, of course, that's what I talked about. But you can look at that fucking movie and you can sort of say, yo, this is sort of happening in society for real. And they say, whoa, like, how the fuck? All right. So just that sort of whole idea, you know, of that whole breakdown of relationships between men and women. And then in, you know, in the movie Brave New World, not the Captain America, you know, how life is created. It's not just people saying, okay, hey, I like you, and then they're together for a while, and then a child is born of that relationship. Now it's like special circumstances, or they have like an institution or like a government body that creates life. These sort of like designer children, because you know they want to have, you know, specific traits. They want the children to be this and children to be that, and you know, through genetic manipulation, they can have the new generation look and act a certain way that they would prefer. And we have that now. You know, they have the whole designer baby bullshit. So, you know, you're like a rich, say maybe like Irish woman, you know, orange hair, pale skin, but you want your child to have like, you know, dark skin, long black hair. And they can say, okay, bloop, bloop, here we go. You're going to have yourself a brownie. or you'd be like a rich Nigerian, billionaire Nigerian or something. You want your baby to have, you want it to be black, but you want them to have like blue eyes and blonde hair. That's sort of just the idea of it. I mean, I'm not saying it's ridiculous. I'm just saying they have that actually. There are a group of people that are black. They're clearly my complexion and even darker, blue eyes and blonde hair. So, but I was only using that for an idea of what I'm talking about. I don't know, man. It's wild because now they say, okay, we can have designer babies, and you can genetically modify your children like food. What the fuck? And that's why the whole push for all these alternative lifestyles. You know, the isms and the trans and all of this. I'm a claim trans. Not the trans you think. And I can claim it because it's funny. It's not real. It's a bunch of bullshit, but I think I could sue if you don't call me this. I am not gonna be trans fit. No longer fat. Nobody call me fat no more. You have to call me fit. I am trans fit. Stupid. Genetically modified children. I mean, and it's going on now, so this is not something that's in the future. So I mean, this is the book. It was actually movies based off a book. So the book is. Let me see. Look at it real quick. All right. Aldous Huxley. I don't know why I could not remember his name. That's who wrote that. And I do have a song. It's it's drum and bass. I don't know why I used it, but there's an excerpt in that song of him talking. I don't know why I used it, but either way. So, if you have any sort of aptitude or sort of any sort of into any kind of conspiratorial stuff, especially for way back in the day, you know the name of Aldous Huxley. I mean, there's so much more you could talk about him, but either way, this is basically him predicting how, relationships and, the way we raise children and things like that in society nowadays. He basically prescribed that in his book way back. Of course, way back in the last century. You know, I mean, it, I it's just sometimes you want to come on and say, and this stuff is really far fetched. I can't really deny it, but just look at the movie. Even just look at that little snippet. You can find it on YouTube. Just look up the movie Brave New World. Look at snippets of the movie, and then you know apply it to what you see in life today, and just go back to the initial story. The Thousand Penises of Woe. They got the 1,000 points of light. That's what it has to be called. The 1,000 penises of woe. And it's woe because she did all of that and ain't getting paid for it. They didn't give her no money. She can't monetize it. It ain't. If OnlyFans ain't monetizing, who else is there? You know what I'm saying? The other one that you could monetize stuff on, yeah, there's that one nudie set. I forgot which one it is, but it's pretty much banned everywhere. I know they just banned it here in Florida. You have to put like an ID. There were other porn sites, so it doesn't really matter. 1,000 penises of woe. And it's also woe because it's like, whoa, really? You know what I'm saying? And honestly, she's not the first person to do this. This is, porno chicks that was doing that shit on like VHS. So, you could go buy the VHS and DVDs. You know what I'm saying? And Shorty had the ISA. You know what I'm saying? Between like, I guess you get through like 50, and you gotta ice that naughty spotter. Yo, that's a stupid one, naughty spot. Never gonna use that one again. It's like, all right. So, right now, through the marathon, I made it through 2 movies. They Live and Escape from New York. So it wasn't much of a marathon, but now I watched some more this week. I guess I'll just do Brave New World, but They Live and Escape from New York didn't hold up, but the premise is there, especially with They Live. That I can say is at least perfect in its premise, especially at least as far as discussion goes. But that's it. Shit. 422. That girl is so screwed, man. She's so young. And she's got in the head that it was first off, the hundred guys is just ridiculous, especially she said within the 24 hours. So, and it's 1,000, and it's one after another, after another, after another. And how do you stand in line? And how didn't somebody, like, doesn't she have advisors or somebody they paid to like, hey, somebody think that maybe this isn't a good idea? Okay, if you're gonna do 1,000, do grown ass men so you can at least monetize it. And that's that whole Brave New World shit. You see it, and it's not just women. I've seen dudes do some shit. One of the most egregious. I'm not gonna go through it. All I can say, it's a similar situation like Woody Allen. It's a brave new world. And Captain America: Brave New World. I'm sorry, it was good. Wasn't great. Was it? It wasn't Deadpool Wolverine, even that wasn't great. But it was Marvel, man. It's better than anything else out there. I mean, everything out there has been garbage. I mean, you probably have a few good ones, but I it's gotta pull me in. Other than that, I love my Marvel shit. Good, bad, or indifferent. Some DC stuff. We got Fantastic Four coming. We got Superman. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna check it all out. Whatever. It's a brave new world. The day is long. Sun is hot. Might as well smoke. Got some pot. I'm out. I'm gonna play the outro song.